We want to make it so we can go ahead and add a score to our existing game so we can keep track of what's happening inside the game. As you can see, we have a current score right here of 0, and when I have something happen and we have a collision occur, we'll have that score update automatically, so we can have that cool effect right there, so the score automatically takes care of itself. Boom, they explode, my score goes up by that. So we want to add that feature to our game. And so in order to add a score, we've got to go ahead and do a little bit of change to our code. Again, as you can see, nothing is changing inside the actual view. All the work is going to happen inside our scene. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. And so inside our scenes, we're going to look at GameScene.Swift. And when we're looking at GameScene.Swift, we can see right here that I have a score variable right here. It's a private var score. It's of type int. I set it to -0. I know -0, not really a good value, but trust me, it's going to be there for a reason. I also add to score, I give it a did set property observer. The property observer is a way that Swift allows us to actually keep track of what's happening to a variable inside the actual project itself. And so whenever did set fires, it happens anytime we change what's stored inside that variable score. So every time score gets changed, the did set will observe that change. It will fire the code that's attached to it. In this case, I have a single block of code, which simply just says scoreNode.text is equal to current score : and then /parens score. So use the string interpolation to grab that variable score and attach it inside the node that we're using to keep track of that score. And so SKLabelNode is a regular SKLabelNode. So an SKLabelNode is a node we can use inside SpriteKit to hold text values. I know, crazy. And we initialize it using font copperplate-bold. So copperplate-bold is the font I'm using right here. So as you can see, if I open back up to the actual application, it has that cute little copperplate font, and it's a bold font. And then I'm using it right here so I can actually put that inside there. I go to my did move and I say score node, I want my position, Z position to be 2. So I want it to be above the actual layer of the game, because I don't want the effect of this node to be interfering with any of the nodes of the actual game itself. It's above it. It's in front of the stuff. So we don't want to see it. It's everything happens behind it. So if I click right there and I click right here, you can see that it happens behind that. You can see that the score itself is in front of anything that's happening on the game. So we have that right there. I'm setting Z position, excuse me, and then I set the score position, its X and Y values to be 120, 85, 385. And unlike everything else that we're working with, when we're talking about the regular positioning, inside SpriteKit, when I'm talking about the Y value, guess what? I go up. I know, it's so weird that positive values go up and then positive X values also go to the right. It's weird, but it's okay. So this is going to be going up 385 values and over 120. It gets us the midpoint for that node is where that's going to be placed right there. And I set the font size on that to be 20. And the font size, that's up to you. Make it fit for the game. Obviously, it fits really well for what I'm working with right now. But if, say, for example, you want to have a smaller font or a bigger font based on what you're actually showing, that would be something you could do as well. And all you have to do is just give it an appropriate label node and assign that label the text font that you want to have it show. And then, of course, just like everything else that I do, I set add child. I put that node inside the tree. That puts the node so we can actually see it. And then I call the did set to happen by saying score is equal to 0. That forces it to reset the value because originally initialized with -0, not a good value, but by assigning 0 to that score, it explicitly reassigns the value into it and says, hey, here's the score I have to display inside my node. And I do that after that add child so it can be appropriately shown on screen. I know, pretty cheesy, but that's the way we can make it so we can have text show inside the game. All we have to use is use a label node. We're using initialization where we pass it the font so we can decide where it's going to be. We then give it a position inside the did move method because did move gets fired when the game itself opens up to that screen. That's why we put it there, so it's always on display and ready to be seen. And then we're good to go. And that's it. We're good. Have a great day and have a great time making some more stuff with games and sprites. Thanks. Cheers.